Alright, time for another guitar product review from guitartrainingtalk.com. This time I'm going to review a different kind of book that you normally won't see me review, but it is definitely worth talking about because it's something I discovered purely by accident. And what it is, the name of the book is Open Tuning Chord Book, but it doesn't really give a detailed description of just how good this book is if you want to get into open tunings. Basically, open tunings normally are associated with open G, open E, drop D, and a few others, but it normally associated with slide guitar, which is cool. I like slide guitar, but the reason I'm talking about this particular book called Open Tuning Chord Book, the author is Felix Schell, S-C-H-E-L-L, and it's put out by Mel Bay Productions, good old Mel Bay. And the reason I bring this book up is one of the frustrations I had when trying to find anything good in the books about open tunings, as none of them dealt with rock guitar. For one thing, it was always about folk songs and stuff I didn't want to learn. The other thing is if I wanted to play lead guitar like the pentatonic scales like you did in standard tuning and do that in like an open E or open G, none of the books gave scale diagrams. They gave about 3 or 4 different chords for each tuning and some slide licks, but nothing else. And that's what makes this book so different from anything else that I have found. And the cool thing about it, it's got open D, open G, open E tuning, open A tuning, open D minor tuning, and I think that is a D, E, G, A, and D minor tunings. But the neat thing about this book is the diagrams in it, because within each tuning, as I'll show you here in a second, if you can see it on the webcam, it's just got a lot of chord diagrams. Look, I mean, it's got tons of different fingerings for the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord, and also for the major 7th chords, major 6th, 9th chords, a G7/9 chord, all different types of chord forms for the open tunings, not just your typical ones that they show for slide guitar. And I'm talking about a lot of them. Here's another full page of dominant chords and subdominant, which is the 7th chord, but a whole slew of different fingerings of different chords in each one of these tunings. Now, the best thing about this book, it is the only book I've ever found about open tunings that also diagrams out the scale forms for you. It's got, I hope you can see this somewhat, but it's got the diagrams of the scale forms laid out on a fretboard for you in the major scale, major pentatonic, minor pentatonic, blues scale, natural minor scale, and even the harmonic minor scale. And keep in mind, these are the scale forms in the open E and open G and open A tunings. The fingerings are totally different than the standard tuning. So if you want to play lead guitar just like you learned your regular old pentatonic minor scales, you can now do that in these open tunings just as easily once you learn the scale forms here as you did when you were learning the pentatonic forms in standard tuning. Only book I've ever found that diagrammed all the scale forms out if you want to play some licks and leads in these open tunings rather than just your typical slide licks. That's what I found this book so fascinating and well worth the money if you want to do some exploring in open tuning. It also gives you some diagrams of intervals like 3rd, 4th, 6th, and even 10th if you want to get into tense intervals. But those are even laid out for you in these open tunings, so makes it real easy to play guitar in leads in open tuning as it does in standard tuning. So That's why I highly recommend this book if you're looking to dabble in open tunings, because you can really learn a lot of chord forms and scales and play just as you play in standard tuning and the open tuning. So check this book out if you want to start learning your open G, open E, open D, or even D minor tunings, and get a lot more for your money. This book only sells for $8.95, and once again, it is Open Tuning Chord Book. It's by Felix Schell, S-C-H-E-L-L, but you get it by Melbay Productions. So, check it out. It's well worth the money. In the meantime, keep practicing, and I'll keep putting up these reviews for you. Got any questions, just send me an email.